Gum at the Vifos Leadership Series.
Nonavati Idriyata.
Hello there, very good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News on TV1. On behalf of the Newsfirst, the voice of the people, I'm Martin Satyanesan. Let's start off with a look at your headlines for this afternoon.
Audit launched into Fuel Price Stabilization Fund. Lion suspected with COVID-19 at Dahiwala Zoo. Namal says vehicles won't be imported for MPs. Gum at the V-Force recognizes and awards leaders of tomorrow. Global COVID-19 death toll tops 4 million.
Now those stories in detail. State Minister of Wildlife Vimalavira Dissanayake says that a lion is being treated for COVID-19 at the Dahiwala Zoological Garden. According to the State Minister, PCR tests carried out on the lion had returned both positive and negative results for COVID-19. However, he noted that the lion is being treated with assistance from India as it is displaying symptoms of the infection.
We
believe steps are being taken to determine how the animal had contracted the infection and whether there is a possibility that the infection could have been transmitted from the zoo to other areas of the country.
Sri Lanka confirmed 51 COVID-19 deaths yesterday.
A statement issued by the Director General of Health Services said that the COVID-19 deaths had occurred on the 16th of June. 20 females and 31 males were among the deceased. According to the statement, 37 people who died due to COVID-19 were above the age of 60. Sri Lanka's total death toll due to the virus stands at 2,425. The country's total number of infections reached 233,064 after 2,372 new cases were confirmed yesterday. The Health Ministry's Epidemiology Unit said that 35,256 COVID-19 infected people are currently under medical care. 195,435 people have recovered from the virus so far.
These were the views expressed by Venerable Raja Ganesh Sadarathanathero on the COVID-19 situation in the country.
The
COVID-19 pandemic did not exist in the country. They allowed the spread of COVID-19 by allowing people from foreign countries that were battling waves of the virus to arrive in the country. People are dying in large numbers. They are not issuing clear statistics on that either. Some are dying of starvation. Others are dying of COVID-19. They are dying at homes and at hospitals as well. Against such a backdrop, the cruel rulers are trying to import vehicles worth millions for their comfort. What makes them so special? Do they need vehicles worth millions? Do these rulers love the country?
Protests were held today opposing the recent hike in fuel prices.
A group comprising opposition members of the Kadwala Municipal Council staged a protest demanding the reduction of fuel prices. They expressed their objection towards this move, citing that it has increased the cost of living. The group then marched towards the Kadwala Municipal Council and continued their protest. Our correspondent reported that the officer in charge of the Nawagamo police station arrived at the location and advised against engaging in the protest. Meanwhile, a group of members, including the chairman of the Dhiraniyagala Pradesh Sabha, engaged in a protest opposing the hike in fuel prices. The protest was staged opposite the Dhiraniyagala Pradesh Sabha. The protest was organized by the members of the Samagijana Balawegya. A silent protest was staged by the opposition members of the Benthara Pradesh Sabha opposite its premises. This was prior to the commencement of the first session of the month. The group of protesters arrived at the premises of the Pradesh Sabha carrying banners. Meanwhile, opposition members of the Bulletin Pradesh Sabha also engaged in a protest opposite its premises today.
Meanwhile, Minister Namal Rajapaksa expressed views regarding the fuel price hike following an event in Gampaha.
The President has informed the stance. The Cabinet has also made a decision. Before they bring the no confidence motion against us, they should decide on whether Ranil or Sajid is their leader. We are not dealing with Ranil, Sajid or Anura. They hold talks with us on bringing down vehicles. Those matters will come to light in future.
An audit has been launched into the Fuel Price Stabilization Fund. The government had not reduced the local prices of fuel when prices had dropped in the world market. It said that the excess revenue generated through this move would be credited to a fuel price stabilization fund. However, the Minister of Energy had recently said that such a fund had not been maintained. The central bank has said that fuel price stabilization fund was set up in 2020 and had received funds worth 69.2 billion rupees. It added that 47.5 billion rupees had been credited to the fund through the treasury bills issued by the central bank. According to the central bank, 48 billion rupees had been used to settle debts owned by the Ceylon Electricity Board to the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation. 21 billion rupees had been used to settle treasury bills of the central bank. Meanwhile, a father of three lost his life in a wild elephant attack in Madhavachia yesterday.
The village of Nelugolava in Medavache is frequented by wild elephants. This has affected agricultural activities of farmers and has made lives difficult. A wild elephant that encroached into the village yesterday claimed the life of an individual. The deceased is a 57-year-old father of three and a resident of Nelugolava in Medavache. Villagers are pleading with authorities for a feasible solution to this problem.
Shifting your attention to international news, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has said his country needs to prepare for both dialogue and confrontation with the United States, and especially to get fully prepared for confrontation.
North Korea had earlier snubbed efforts by President Joe Biden's administration to establish diplomatic communication. This marks the first time Kim has directly commented on Biden's administration. Kim was speaking at a meeting of senior leaders in Pyongyang. The ruling Workers' Party's Central Committee meeting, which started this week in the capital Pyongyang, also saw Kim admitting the country was facing food shortages. According to North Korean state media outlet KNCA, Kim had said, quote, especially to get fully prepared for confrontation in order to protect the dignity of our state and its interests for independent development, unquote, as well as to guarantee a peaceful environment and North Korea's security. He also said North Korea would, quote unquote, sharply and promptly react to any developments and concentrate efforts on taking stable control of the situation on the Korean peninsula.
Now, Indonesian health officials are blaming the lack of a proper health policy for a spike in COVID-19 cases.
Indonesian experts say that COVID-19 cases had surged as people ignored a travel ban to visit their hometowns. They have also attributed this situation to the absence of a proper health policy and confused directive. The privatization of testing regimes and ineffective tracing have also been identified as a reason for this. There are fears that Indonesia could soon be facing an outbreak comparable to India's. Experts further say they can see from what happened in India that the pattern is very clear. The Delta variant impacts much harder in countries that do not have enough social distancing, mask wearing, testing and tracing, as well as vaccination.
More international news. Coronavirus related deaths worldwide passed a grim milestone of 4 million yesterday as many countries struggle to procure enough vaccines to inoculate their populations.
While the number of new cases and deaths have abated in countries like the United States and Britain, several nations have vaccine shortages as the Delta variant becomes the dominant strain around the world. According to a Reuters analysis, it took over a year for the COVID-19 death toll to hit 2 million, while the next 2 million were recorded in just 166 days. The top 5 countries by total number of deaths, the United States, Brazil, India, Russia and Mexico, represent about 50% of all deaths in the world, while Peru, Hungary, Bosnia, the Czech Republic and Gibraltar have the highest death rates when adjusted for population. Countries in Latin America are facing their worst outbreaks since March, with 43 of every 100 infections in the world being reported in the region. The top 9 countries reporting the most deaths per capita over the last week were all in Latin America.
Government the V-Force has been a trailblazer in shaping the leaders of tomorrow, nurturing their talents and molding them with successfully tackled challenges that lie ahead. The Government the International Leadership Council was also imbued through this ethos to inspire future leaders. The Government the V-Force Leadership Series organized by the Council was a series of seminars which saw the pioneers of today inspiring those of the future. Today, the Government the International Leadership Council reached yet another milestone by presenting certificates to those who successfully completed the leadership series. The convocation was held this morning.
The Gamada Vivos Leadership Series.
The leadership series was organized via Zoom with many trendsetters and eminent personalities sharing their experiences and ideas. The focus of the leadership series was to encourage budding leaders to break the mold and create unique thinking patterns to face a dynamic world order. The convocation was presided over by the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Peradeniya, Professor Uppul B. Dissanayake, who was also the chief guest. The keynote address of the event was delivered by Professor William Bill Silcock of the State University of Arizona in the United States. Dr. Robert Eldridge, a specialist in globalization, was the special guest speaker of the convocation. Director of MTV-MBC Asoka Dias and Executive Group Director of the Capital Maharaja Group, Shevan Daniel, also addressed the event. Another virtuous initiative was announced during the convocation. Gamada announced the launch of free-to-air ordinary level classes on TV1 to support rural students with lack of access to devices with internet, especially in these pandemic-stricken times. The classes will air from Monday the 21st of June onwards on TV1 and will subsequently be accessible online.
The Indian High Commission in Colombo has denied the allegations made against the Indian Navy over an alleged attack on Sri Lankan fishermen in the high seas. Yesterday, a group of Sri Lankan fishermen who had purportedly been attacked by the Indian Navy in international waters returned to Sri Lanka through the Dikovita Fisheries Harbour. They were immediately admitted to the Chilau Hospital. According to the 13 fishermen, they had set out to sea on 2 large multi-day fishing vessels on the 7th of May, and the Indian Navy had stopped them at the international maritime boundary and attacked them with steel poles. The Indian High Commission in Colombo, issuing a statement, has rejected the allegations made against the Indian Navy and stated, "We deny any such incident have taken place. The Indian Navy is a highly disciplined and professional force that discharges its responsibilities in an impeccable manner." Furthermore, the High Commission has stated that India is firmly committed to addressing all fishermen-related issues between India and Sri Lanka in a humanitarian manner through established bilateral mechanisms and understandings. Meanwhile, the Marine Environment Protection Authority has said it would divulge statistics of marine creatures that have washed ashore due to the Express Pearl incident only after facts are reported in court. Against such a backdrop, the carcass of a turtle had washed ashore today as well.
The carcass of a turtle had washed up on the shores of Thalpitia today. Our correspondent reported that the turtle weighs about 40 kilograms. Meanwhile, the carcass of the turtle that had washed up on the Lansingama coast in Nathandia is due to be handed over to the Nikavaratia Veterinarian's office for an examination today. Our correspondent reported that the turtle had washed up on the Lansingama coast yesterday. Wildlife officers say that the turtle is approximately 30 years old.
The
sinking of the vessel may have affected marine resources in its vicinity. We cannot deny that possibility. If the impact of this incident has affected marine resources in other areas as well, then the environmentalists would issue the relevant statements on that. How many marine creatures have died so far?
We will be able to release the statistics to the public and the media after they are prepared and tabled in court.
Status of tests into diseased marine creatures. The Government Analysts Department has said that it is conducting tests on the carcasses of marine creatures, including turtles that had washed ashore recently. Government Analyst Gauri Ramana said that the tests would assist in determining the exact cause for the deaths of these creatures. She noted that tests are being carried out into the chemical composition in the waters and the impact caused to the ocean due to the leak of chemicals from the Express Pearl vessel. The government analyst said that a report will be published in near future.
Some exciting news for the cricket fans. The inaugural ICC Test Championship final between New Zealand and India will take place in Southampton today. The match is set to be played at the Aegis Bowl in Southampton. The finalist of the ICC Test Championship was chosen